You're listening to the Bare Metal Cyber Prepcast, created to help you succeed in your educational journey. Learn more at baremetalcyber.com, where additional prepcasts, books, and training materials await. Let's get started. National security has always been a contest of intelligence, speed, and technological advantage, and artificial intelligence is rapidly becoming a defining factor in this arena. From analyzing vast amounts of data to guiding autonomous systems in the field, AI is transforming how nations defend themselves, gather intelligence, and project power. Unlike past innovations that were confined to specific weapons or strategies, AI is a broad enabler affecting cybersecurity, logistics, surveillance, and even the delicate balance of global stability. It is also dual use, meaning the same technologies that power civilian industries can be adapted for military or security purposes. This overlap complicates governance, as innovation spreads across borders and sectors. At the same time, the race for AI supremacy intensifies competition among world powers, raising the stakes for both cooperation and conflict. Understanding AI's role in national security means exploring its potential benefits while grappling with the risks it introduces to global peace. AI in intelligence analysis demonstrates how machines can process information at a scale and speed beyond human capability. Modern intelligence agencies collect staggering amounts of signals data, satellite images, and open-source text every day. Human analysts cannot possibly review it all, but I can filter noise, detect anomalies, and identify patterns of interest. For example, an algorithm may scan thousands of intercepted communications to flag suspicious activity, or analyze satellite imagery to spot unusual troop movements. Natural language processing also allows AI to parse documents in multiple languages, providing summaries or highlighting key terms. These capabilities accelerate decision-making, giving policymakers and commanders more timely insights. Yet reliance on AI in intelligence also carries risks. Biased data or flawed models can mislead, and overconfidence in automated analysis could obscure critical nuance. As such, AI is best used as a force multiplier, enhancing human judgment rather than attempting to replace it. Cyberdefense has become one of the most critical domains for AI application in national security. Networks face constant probing from adversaries, with millions of attempted intrusions occurring daily. AI systems strengthen defenses by learning to recognize unusual patterns in traffic, flagging potential malware, and even automating responses to attacks. For instance, an AI might isolate a compromised server before malicious code spreads or block phishing attempts by analyzing message patterns. These systems adapt more quickly than traditional defenses, keeping pace with evolving threats. However, adversaries also employ AI to design more sophisticated attacks, leading to an arms race between offensive and defensive capabilities. The stakes are high. A successful cyber attack on infrastructure, such as power grids or financial networks, could destabilize entire nations. AI and cyber defense exemplifies both the necessity and the danger of intelligence systems in security, where resilience and adaptability are paramount. Military applications of AI are among the most visible and controversial. Autonomous drones can conduct surveillance or strike missions with minimal human input, while robotic ground vehicles assist in logistics or combat roles. AI decision support systems provide commanders with simulations of battlefield outcomes, optimizing troop movements or targeting strategies. These technologies offer speed, precision, and reduced risk to human soldiers. Yet they also raise ethical and legal concerns, especially when systems are given lethal capabilities. The possibility of machines making life and death decisions without human oversight alarms both policymakers and ethicists. Moreover, adversaries may deploy similar systems, escalating conflicts with unpredictable consequences. Military AI highlights attention. While automation can enhance effectiveness, it also risks eroding human control over warfare. As nations invest in these capabilities, debates over appropriate limits and safeguards grow more urgent, underscoring the need for clear doctrines on human responsibility. AI in surveillance systems illustrates how intelligence tools extend beyond the battlefield into homeland security. Advanced monitoring platforms integrate facial recognition, motion detection, and predictive analytics to secure borders, airports, and cities. For example, AI can analyze video feeds to identify persons of interest in real time or detect suspicious behavior, such as loitering near sensitive facilities. Border agencies deploy AI for biometric screening, matching travelers against databases to enhance security. These capabilities can deter crime and terrorism, but they also raise civil liberties concerns. Widespread surveillance risks, creating societies where privacy is compromised, and errors in recognition may unfairly target certain groups. Striking the balance between security and rights remains one of the most difficult challenges in deploying AI domestically. Surveillance illustrates the double-edged nature of AI. Its promise of protection is inseparable from its potential for overreach. Geopolitical competition over AI supremacy is shaping 21st-century power struggles. The United States, China, and other major powers see AI as a cornerstone of future military and economic dominance. National strategies outline investments in AI research, defense applications, and industry partnerships, with each country seeking to lead in both civilian and military innovation. This rivalry extends to talent recruitment, supply chains for critical components, and control of data flows. Smaller nations, too, recognize that their security depends on aligning with allies and staying competitive in AI-driven capabilities. The competition resembles past arms races but is broader, encompassing everything from semiconductors to algorithms. The risk is that rapid militarization of AI without shared norms increases instability, as mistrust fuels escalation. Global competition highlights that AI is not just a tool for national security, but also a strategic asset influencing the entire balance of international relations. Information warfare has taken on new dimensions with AI, particularly through disinformation campaigns powered by deepfakes and social bots. Automated systems can generate convincing fake images, videos, or news stories, flooding information channels with misleading content. Social media manipulation becomes more sophisticated when AI tailors messages to exploit specific audiences, fears, or biases. For example, bots can amplify divisive narratives during elections, undermining trust in democratic processes. Deepfake videos of political leaders can spread quickly before verification, destabilizing international relations. The challenge for governments lies not only in defending against such attacks, but also in maintaining public trust in authentic information. AI-driven disinformation blurs the line between truth and fabrication, making information warfare a central front in national security. Combating these threats requires technological defenses, public awareness, and robust verification systems to preserve the integrity of shared facts. Logistics and supply chain defense represent another vital application of AI in military readiness. Armies depend on reliable delivery of food, fuel, ammunition, and equipment, often across hostile or unpredictable environments. AI can optimize routes, predict maintenance needs, and allocate resources dynamically. For instance, predictive analytics may flag when a vehicle is likely to break down, allowing repairs before missions are compromised. During operations, AI may reroute supply convoys to avoid ambushes or natural obstacles, ensuring that frontline troops remain supported. These efficiencies reduce waste, improve resilience, and enhance overall combat effectiveness. Yet logistics systems themselves become targets, as adversaries may attempt to disrupt AI-driven networks. Ensuring robustness against cyber attacks and manipulation is therefore critical. Logistics highlights that wars are not only fought on battlefields, but also in supply chains, where AI provides a decisive advantage in sustaining operations. Predictive analytics for conflict prevention reflects AI's potential to support peace as well as war. By analyzing economic indicators, migration patterns, and social media sentiment, AI systems can forecast areas at risk of instability. For example, spikes in food prices combined with political unrest might indicate an increased likelihood of conflict, prompting early intervention by governments or international organizations. These tools can guide diplomatic efforts, humanitarian aid, or peacekeeping missions before crises escalate. Predictive analytics thus turns data into foresight, offering a chance to address root causes rather than respond only after violence erupts. However, these predictions are not infallible and may be influenced by biased data or misinterpretation. Still, when used responsibly, they provide a powerful tool for shaping proactive strategies in international security. Conflict prevention underscores AI's dual potential. While it can drive escalation, it can also illuminate pathways to stability. Autonomous weapons debates sit at the center of ethical and legal controversies in national security. Lethal autonomous systems machines that can select and engage targets without human intervention raise fundamental questions about morality, accountability, and international law. Proponents argue that such systems could reduce casualties by executing missions with precision and without fatigue. Critics counter that delegating lethal decisions to machines undermines human dignity and erodes accountability when mistakes occur. International discussions, including at the United Nations, focus on whether bans or limits should be imposed, similar to treaties on chemical or nuclear weapons. Yet, geopolitical rivalry complicates consensus, as nations fear falling behind in a critical domain of military power. The autonomous weapons debate highlights the clash between technological capability and ethical responsibility, demanding global dialogue about how humanity wants to define the boundaries of warfare in the AI era. The dual-use nature of AI further complicates governance, as technologies often serve both civilian and military purposes. A computer vision algorithm developed for self-driving cars may also guide drones in combat. Natural language models built for customer service can be adapted for disinformation campaigns. This overlap makes export controls, licensing, and regulation difficult, as restricting military applications may also hinder civilian innovation. It also increases the risk of proliferation, as technologies diffuse through commercial markets before governments can regulate them. Dual-use realities mean that AI cannot be neatly separated into civilian and defense domains. Policymakers must therefore design frameworks that recognize this entanglement, balancing economic growth with security concerns. Dual-use technology illustrates the interconnectedness of modern innovation, where boundaries between peace and war blur in ways that challenge traditional legal and ethical structures. AI in space security introduces a new frontier in national defense. Satellites play critical roles in communication, navigation, and surveillance, making them strategic assets vulnerable to disruption. AI systems help monitor orbital activity, predicting potential collisions and detecting unusual maneuvers by foreign satellites. For example, an AI might identify when a satellite approaches too closely, signaling possible espionage or interference. AI also supports missile detection and space situational awareness, strengthening early warning systems. As more nations and private actors deploy satellites, the competition for orbital dominance intensifies. Space becomes not only an economic domain, but also a security one, where AI plays a central role in maintaining stability. Yet the militarization of space raises concerns about escalation, particularly if automated systems misinterpret signals. Space security illustrates how AI extends national defense beyond Earth, shaping geopolitics on a truly global scale. Alliances and AI cooperation highlight the importance of partnerships in shaping security strategies. Organizations such as NATO, the Quad, and regional defense pacts are increasingly focused on AI, sharing research, coordinating policies, and conducting joint exercises. For example, NATO has developed guidelines on responsible AI use in defense, encouraging members to adopt ethical principles while maintaining interoperability. Cooperation strengthens collective resilience, ensuring that no single nation bears the burden of innovation or defense alone. Yet alliances also face challenges, as members differ in technological capacity, regulatory philosophy, and geopolitical priorities. Building shared frameworks for AI requires trust, transparency, and compromise. Alliances illustrate that national security in the AI era is not only a matter of individual power but also of collective coordination, where global challenges demand global solutions. Risks of escalation with AI arise from the speed and autonomy these systems introduce into conflict. Automated defenses may misinterpret signals, triggering retaliatory actions before humans can intervene. For example, an AI system monitoring missile launches might mistake a test for an attack, escalating tensions dangerously. The faster machines operate, the less time leaders have to assess and de-escalate, raising the possibility of accidental war. Adversaries may also exploit these risks, deliberately feeding false data to provoke miscalculations. Escalation concerns underscore the importance of maintaining human control over critical systems and ensuring that safeguards prevent unintended conflict. While AI promises faster and more effective defense, it also compresses decision-making timelines in ways that strain traditional diplomatic and military structures. Preventing escalation requires careful design, strict oversight, and international agreements to manage risks. Governance challenges in national security. I reflect the difficulty of balancing secrecy with accountability. Military programs often operate under strict confidentiality to protect sensitive capabilities, but this secrecy limits public oversight and democratic debate. At the same time, too little transparency risks eroding trust, both domestically and internationally. Governments must also manage partnerships with private companies that develop much of the AI technology used in defense, raising questions about accountability and control. Oversight mechanisms such as parliamentary committees or international watchdogs can provide partial solutions, but they face limitations in classified contexts. Governance challenges highlight the paradox of AI in national security. Societies want both effective protection and assurance that systems are used responsibly. Achieving this balance requires innovative oversight structures that respect security needs while upholding democratic values and ethical commitments. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. AI in counterterrorism has become a vital tool for governments seeking to detect, disrupt, and dismantle extremist networks before they strike. Traditional counterterrorism efforts relied heavily on human intelligence, surveillance, and painstaking analysis of communications. Today, AI accelerates these processes by scanning enormous amounts of data from online platforms, travel records, and financial transactions. Algorithms can identify suspicious communication patterns, flag unusual movements across borders, or connect seemingly unrelated individuals within a network. For instance, AI might detect that multiple low-level operatives are purchasing similar equipment in different cities, indicating coordination. Natural language processing also helps monitor extremist propaganda, identifying key themes and recruiting tactics. Yet these tools must be used cautiously, as false positives can overwhelm investigators and infringe on civil liberties. AI, in counterterrorism, exemplifies both the promise and the peril of machine intelligence offering speed and scale, but requiring careful oversight to ensure fairness and accountability in its application. Border protection increasingly depends on AI systems that enhance security, while processing massive flows of people and goods. Biometric screening, powered by facial recognition and fingerprint analysis, helps verify identities quickly and accurately at checkpoints. Predictive risk assessment algorithms analyze passenger data, travel histories, and cargo manifests to identify potential threats before they enter a country. For example, I might flag an unusual pattern of shipping routes that suggests smuggling or alert border agents to inconsistencies in travel documentation. These technologies increase efficiency, reducing wait times while improving accuracy in identifying risks. However, they also raise concerns about privacy, accuracy, and potential discrimination if systems misidentify individuals from certain demographic groups. Border protection illustrates the tension between security imperatives and civil liberties, highlighting the need for transparent safeguards and human oversight. AI strengthens defenses, but its legitimacy depends on ensuring that protections against misuse are as strong as the technologies themselves. Naval and air defense are also undergoing profound changes with AI integration. Autonomous ships can patrol vast maritime regions, monitor activity, and even intercept threats without continuous human direction. In the air, AI assists pilots through systems that analyze flight conditions, monitor enemy activity, and suggest maneuvers in real time. Missile defense systems powered by AI can detect launches, calculate trajectories, and intercept incoming projectiles within seconds, a task far beyond human reaction speed. These capabilities strengthen national defense, but they also compress decision-making timelines, increasing the risk of errors or unintended escalation. For instance, an autonomous drone might misinterpret radar signals and take aggressive action prematurely. While AI provides speed and precision, it also demands rigorous testing, clear rules of engagement, and strict oversight. Naval and air defense demonstrate both the power and fragility of AI systems, underscoring the need to balance automation with human judgment in high-stakes scenarios. Wargaming with AI is transforming how militaries test strategies and prepare for conflict. Traditional simulations required manual input and could only account for limited variables. AI-driven simulations, however, can process countless scenarios, introducing dynamic adversary behaviors and unpredictable outcomes. For example, I might simulate how an enemy adapts to different tactics in real time, forcing commanders to reconsider assumptions. These wargames provide valuable training, helping leaders understand complex environments such as cyber attacks, hybrid warfare, or urban combat. They also allow planners to test strategies without risking lives, providing insights into potential weaknesses or unintended consequences. However, wargaming with AI carries risks if simulations are treated as predictive rather than exploratory. Overconfidence in outcomes may lead to flawed strategies. Still, when used responsibly, AI-enhanced wargaming deepens strategic thinking, preparing militaries to navigate the uncertainty and complexity of modern conflict with greater agility and foresight. AI in strategic deterrence raises some of the most profound questions for global stability. Deterrence relies on credibility and communication, convincing adversaries that aggression will trigger unacceptable consequences. AI complicates this balance by accelerating detection, response, and even potential retaliation. For example, early warning systems powered by AI might detect a missile launch and recommend countermeasures within seconds, reducing the time leaders have to assess whether the threat is genuine. While speed strengthens defense, it also raises the risk of miscalculation or accidental escalation. Adversaries may fear that AI reduces their window for decision-making, prompting more aggressive postures. In nuclear strategy, where misinterpretation could be catastrophic, AI's role is especially fraught. Strategic deterrence illustrates how AI can both reinforce and destabilize global security, making it essential to design safeguards that preserve human judgment and avoid compressing decisions into dangerously narrow timeframes. Humanitarian military missions highlight a different dimension of AI, showing its potential for saving lives outside combat. During disasters, AI assists with mapping affected areas using satellite imagery, predicting where aid is most urgently needed, and coordinating logistics for relief operations. For example, after an earthquake, AI might analyze infrastructure damage to prioritize routes for medical teams and supply deliveries. Drones equipped with AI can survey hazardous environments, locating survivors where humans cannot safely reach. These applications demonstrate that military AI is not solely about combat, but also about alleviating suffering during crises. However, humanitarian use also faces challenges, such as ensuring accuracy in chaotic environments and maintaining trust with local populations who may be wary of military technology. Still, humanitarian missions show AI's capacity to embody ethical commitments, extending its role beyond defense into relief, resilience, and the protection of vulnerable communities. Arms control and governance of AI in defense contexts are becoming pressing international issues. Traditional arms treaties address nuclear, chemical, or conventional weapons, but AI presents different challenges. Autonomous systems can be small, inexpensive, and easily proliferated, making them harder to regulate. Nations disagree on whether to ban or limit lethal autonomous weapons, with some advocating strict prohibitions and others pushing for flexibility. Norm-building efforts at the United Nations seek to establish principles such as maintaining human control over lethal decisions, but consensus is elusive. Without clear agreements, the risk of an uncontrolled AI arms race grows. Governance efforts must also account for verification and enforcement, which are difficult in digital systems. Arms control debates underscore the urgency of establishing global norms before AI becomes too deeply entrenched in military arsenals, shaping the future of warfare in ways that may be difficult to reverse. Domestic security agencies increasingly use AI for predictive policing, surveillance, and crime prevention. Algorithms analyze crime reports, social media, and sensor data to identify hotspots where incidents are likely to occur. Facial recognition systems assist in identifying suspects, while predictive tools flag individuals deemed at higher risk of committing crimes. These systems promise efficiency and resource optimization, but they also raise concerns about fairness and civil liberties. If trained on biased data, predictive policing may reinforce systemic inequalities, leading to over-policing in marginalized communities. Transparency and oversight are critical to ensure that domestic security AI serves justice rather than perpetuating discrimination. Balancing security with civil rights remains a central challenge, reminding societies that public safety must not come at the expense of fairness, accountability, and trust in law enforcement institutions. Adversarial AI represents a growing threat in national security, as malicious actors deliberately manipulate or poison models to undermine systems. For example, an adversary could subtly alter stop signs so that an autonomous vehicle misinterprets them, or insert misleading data into training sets to corrupt outcomes. In military contexts, adversarial AI could deceive surveillance systems or cause misclassification of threats. These attacks exploit the vulnerabilities of machine learning, turning its strengths into liabilities. Defending against adversarial AI requires constant monitoring, robust testing, and resilience measures to ensure systems perform reliably under hostile conditions. This dimension of security highlights that AI itself is not only a tool for defense, but also a target for exploitation. Building robust defenses against adversarial manipulation is essential to maintaining trust and stability in national security operations. Resilience in defense AI systems emphasizes the importance of robustness against hacking, disruption, and environmental stress. Military AI operates in contested environments where adversaries actively seek to disable or corrupt systems. Resilience means designing algorithms that can adapt to incomplete data, degraded communications, or deliberate interference. For example, a battlefield AI system must continue functioning even if sensors are jammed or signals disrupted. Resilient systems also incorporate redundancy, ensuring that if one component fails, others can compensate. This focus reflects the recognition that no AI will be perfect, but systems must endure in unpredictable conditions. Resilience turns AI from a fragile advantage into a dependable asset, capable of sustaining operations even under direct attack. Building resilience is as much about strategic foresight as technical design, embedding durability into the very architecture of defense AI. Workforce challenges in defense reflect the shortage of skilled professionals capable of designing, deploying, and overseeing advanced systems. Militaries compete with private industry for data scientists, engineers, and cybersecurity experts, often struggling to match the salaries and resources of tech firms. Training programs attempt to bridge the gap, but the pace of technological change makes it difficult to keep up. For example, an AI engineer skilled in today's techniques may need continual retraining as methods evolve. Building a workforce for defense AI also requires interdisciplinary skills. combining technical expertise with understanding of military strategy, ethics, and law. Addressing workforce challenges demands investment not only in recruitment but also in education pipelines, mentorship, and retention strategies. Without skilled professionals, even the most advanced technologies cannot be deployed effectively or responsibly in national security contexts. Ethical frameworks for security. I provide guidance on how nations should develop and deploy these technologies responsibly. Principles often emphasize maintaining human control over lethal decisions, ensuring accountability, and preventing discrimination. NATO and other alliances have issued guidelines stressing transparency and proportionality, while national defense departments publish ethical charters for AI use. These frameworks aim to reassure both domestic and international audiences that AI will be employed within moral boundaries, even in the context of war. However, enforcement remains difficult, and critics worry that ethical statements may become symbolic rather than binding. Still, these frameworks play a vital role in shaping norms, fostering dialogue, and embedding values into military innovation. They remind us that even in matters of national security, technology cannot be divorced from ethics, and that responsible use must remain central to strategic advantage. The future of AI in national security promises both innovation and uncertainty. Nations will continue to invest in autonomous systems, predictive analytics, and cyber defense, seeking advantages in speed, precision, and resilience. Global competition will intensify as major powers race to lead in AI-driven defense capabilities, shaping alliances and rivalries. At the same time, risks of escalation, miscalculation, and ethical violations will grow, demanding stronger governance, transparency, and international cooperation. The trajectory of AI in national security is not fixed but shaped by choices about regulation, accountability, and restraint. If guided by ethical commitments and collaborative frameworks, AI can enhance stability and reduce conflict. If pursued recklessly, it may destabilize the world, amplifying risks of war and eroding human control. The challenge for the future is to harness AI's power for security without sacrificing the values that security is meant to protect. AI in national security is a double-edged force offering strategic advantage, efficiency, and foresight, while also raising profound risks of escalation, misuse, and ethical compromise. From intelligence analysis and cyber defense to autonomous weapons and information warfare, AI now permeates nearly every dimension of defense and stability. Its dual-use nature blurs civilian and military boundaries, complicating governance. Global competition accelerates innovation but also heightens mistrust. The lesson is clear: AI is not only a technological development but a strategic and moral choice. Ensuring its responsible use requires robust governance, ethical frameworks, international cooperation, and resilient systems. For learners, the key takeaway is that AI and national security will shape the global order for decades to come, and the path chosen today will determine whether it strengthens peace or magnifies danger in an increasingly uncertain world. Thanks for tuning in to the Bare Metal Cyber Prepcast, your trusted source for cybersecurity news and insights. Remember to subscribe at baremetalcyber.com so you never miss an update. And visit cyberauthor.me for best-selling cybersecurity books that equip you with expert knowledge. Until next time, stay secure and stay vigilant.